You can.
Welcome to another episode of the Sharing with Shani show. I am your host, Shani. I have Willie T. Montgomery in the building. I got Mika Fresh in the building. We about to get the party started. I am on location. I always wanted to say that. I'm on location, friends. I'm not in the DMV right now. I'm just a little, I don't know my geography. When I head to the beach, is that west?
East.
That's east?
Yeah.
Oh, that is east. I'm just a little bit past the Bay Bridge. I'm east.
East
So,
Coast. East Coast.
You're
but yeah,
southeast,
so
right?
huh?
Southeast, right?
I'm in Southeast, but I'm not in Southeast at the moment. I'm at a leaders retreat right now. So I'll be working
Okay.
remotely for the next day and a half.
Nice.
But anyway,
That's
thank you,
nice.
Mika.
Yeah.
How are you? The background, plug that. When is that coming back? We are
Yeah.
through
So the end of the
people.
month.
The end of the month. Tell
The
people
last
about
the last Sunday this month.
tell people about your Instagram show.
Yeah, Ethereal People is I like to gather and celebrate um you know the non-celebrity folks that are doing the heavy lifting for their communities, for their families, for the world in general, right? Um, I I just always thought it was a very weird thing to celebrate celebrities in such a manner that we forget everyday people, who are sacrificing to make these things happen. So that's what Ethereal People is about. And I like to find people that are a little wonderfully weird like myself, and we just have a good old fun conversation, as everyone probably knows by now on the show, unless we have new listeners. So I guess this is a really good time to refresh. I do have a nonprofit organization called Halo Academy Inc. And so I'm really passionate about about youth and their future, but really their present, their wellness, their wants, their capabilities, just their position in the world. I remember what it was like being a younger youth, because I kind of still feel like I'm a youth. And I'm not a middle-aged adult yet, so I'm just an older young adult. How about that? But anyway, yeah, I remember what it felt like being a youth and not really feeling like I was being heard or valued, right? Like my opinion didn't value what I wanted, wasn't valued. So we hear people say all the time, the youth, the children are the future, but we don't really engage with them to find out how they feel about their future, how they feel about their present, just how they feel in general. So this season on Ethereal People, we will have more young people expressing themselves, using their voices to say what they want, what they don't want, and just how they're feeling. This
I love
pandemic
that.
has really taken a toll on a lot of us.
It has.
And once again, our youth are they're not being highlighted. Instead, they're being ridiculed because they, turn to TikTok for some comic relief, and that has caused some problems. So y'all will be hearing a little bit more from the younger people, and I'm excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very cool.
So Mika is doing great things with that and continues to be a great support here on the Sharon with Shani show. So I'm excited. So check her out. Meet Mika Fresh on all social media platforms. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm a little
How was
hoarse.
your week?
I'm a little hoarse. I did a lot of screaming.
Oh, okay. Was it like
A lot
screaming?
of expressing myself.
Oh.
Oh. She said, oh.
No, I was gonna say was I was getting ready to ask you before you said that. Was it like screaming for your team, or was it like screaming because
all of it, honestly?
Parents, or was it like
all of
screaming
it?
for your children?
All of it. Yeah.
Cheering?
No, I do try my very best not to scream.
I be trying to.
Yeah. It's no, I think it was one of those weeks where you ever just feel like no one is listening.
Mm.
Okay. So I just started screaming. There's no other way to say it. I just started screaming. And every now and then I do give myself permission to do it. I'm not necessarily screaming at anyone. I just start screaming. I know it sounds weird. Maybe one day I'll record myself so people have an understanding as to what I mean. But it's one of those things that I discovered a while ago. I think I shared on the show. Like when I'm in the car driving, I use that time. The windows are up. And if it's been, like really, really stressful, I will use that time to just let it out. So I scream. I scream in the car, and I yell whatever it is that I want to yell. No one can hear me. No one is, you know, no one was harmed in the making of this show. Right? It's just
Exactly.
right.
No, I get it. I've done that before.
Yes.
So
same.
it feels good.
It does feel good. It's been very stressful 2022. It's been rough. I
The
don't
triplet.
want to downplay it. I'm not highlighting it, but I'm being very transparent. There's no other way to say it. So it's been really stressful. It's been really challenging to figure out, how to stay. I still have my joy, so I don't feel like hopeless or anything like that. That's not the thing. But I would be lying if I said that I don't get angry, I don't get super duper annoyed. And yeah, so that's where the screaming comes in. Like at some point I gotta let it out, because I am usually like this, like all the time, just like, okay, and so what did you think about that? Oh, she yelled in your face and you got in trouble. What are we gonna do? That's usually me, like all the time. And so there are times where I'm just like, are you serious? Like,
Right.
and I do it and I don't apologize for it. So yeah.
Absolutely.
But I didn't
So
protect my vocal cords this time, so I got a little hoarse.
to ask you like a professional question,
Mm-hmm.
being our resident. Okay, I describe you as a psychotherapist, and
That is correct.
that's okay.
Yes.
Do therapists have therapists?
I would really pray so. Absolutely.
Okay.
And if they don't, just go the other way.
Okay.
That is my opinion. And the Sharon with Shani show does not necessarily share the same opinions as Meet Mika Fresh. My opinion is, if your therapist does not have the therapist, go the other way.
Because it's the same with like clergy and pastors.
Absolutely.
I'm at a pastor retreat right now, and most pastors have pastors.
I think everyone needs counsel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you are responsible and accountable for more than yourself, you need a team. You need to be able to consult. You need to be able to, just kind of have that individual who can, for one, help you reflect objectively, remind you of the things that you set out to do. In my field professionally, this person is yeah, there, I guess that would be like my support system. I'm supporting a lot of people, and you're pouring out, you're pouring out, you're pouring out. So therapy for me is the way that I get poured back into. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
So
very
last
important.
week's whisper was, it is not the time to be wasting time.
Yeah, no, it's not. um and I do want to stay on that. So we're going to just carry that over, because I feel that when I was, so I love to engage with people. And whenever I talk to people and just, allow them to share their lives and what's going on, and, how they're just kind of living essentially, I felt like we should stick on that because more people need to hear it and also understand what it means. It probably sounds self-explanatory, but this is definitely a time for action.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend a lot of time contemplating, brainstorming, planning, writing it down, and then thinking about it some more. Maybe we make a few phone calls, like we gather data, and then we don't do anything with it. And that's a problem, you know. There was a study done, I think it was in like 2015, I want to say. It was kind of at the top of a lot of the virtual training that, that we see now, especially because of COVID. But there was a study done that there were so many purchases for, like self-paced courses, those self-help books. People was just hoarding information. And then when there was a follow-up done, by either the facilitator of the workshop or even the author of the book, the people hadn't they hadn't read the whole thing, they hadn't watched the whole thing, and they hadn't applied anything. They were just like, oh, I saw it on sale and I wanted to have it, and it's there if I need it. That's it, right? And then you repeat the process and they just keep doing it. And so, yeah, what good is all of that if you're not doing anything with it, if you're not applying it, right? If you didn't even open the book, if you didn't even start the course, it's
Hmm.
not helping you. I'm not going to say that it's a waste of money, because it's not. And I think for some people there are always reasons. Sometimes people are like, well, I had to buy it when I had it, right? Because finances are not readily flowing in, and I get that. And then another resource is time, right? We buy things in the hopes of, okay, the next moment I had free, I'll dig into this course or I'll open that book, and I'll get started. But it yeah, it just kind of, it doesn't happen. And I think we all have the best intentions to make sure that it does, but because we rarely prioritize ourselves,
Hmm.
it just doesn't happen. And we feel good. I think being able to look at, if you do have a physical library, which I do, I love the smell and the touch and the feel of an actual book. I'm not necessarily a digital reader. I'm trying to get into audiobooks just because, people keep telling me, oh, you should do it, you should try it, it's so easy to do. I don't really learn that way, but we'll see what happens. Um, but it's one of those things where if you can't, self-discipline is one of those things that you don't work up to. Right? I remember asking my trainer, like, how can I work up to doing a push-up? She was like, you just do a push-up. And I remember staring at her. I may have wanted to pop her, the little VA pop. But I do remember just staring at her like, that is not the answer I wanted. And it felt like when I went back to school, so Spanish was my second language, right? When I went back to school for my associate's degree, right? I had to take two levels of a language at a 200 level or above. And so I was like, okay, I speak Spanish. And so I went to 201 and I was like, drop it down. I went to 200 and I was like, okay, still not there. And I had to go all the way down to 101, the first class. And I was sitting in that class on the first day and the man was speaking in only Spanish. And I remember saying, there's got to be something below this. And he was like, no, this is it. This is the beginner's course. Sir, you're speaking in Spanish the entire time. I don't understand how it's a beginner's course. He was like, well, you got to hear the language, right? And I was like, no, I have to hear the translation. He was like, you have to familiarize yourself with it. And you have to hear it. He was speaking in only Spanish. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing.
He immersed
and it was like, there's no easier way. This is the best way. He wasn't lying. He was not lying, right? Because by week 3, I was in there and I was following the novellas like I wrote it, okay?
Right.
And it was the same thing with the push-up. The push-up is there, you do it, right? You do it. It doesn't mean you're going to do it perfectly. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. You just do it because there's no other way to do it. It's like, right? There are modifications, but those modifications don't make doing that push-up easy. You have to do the push-up. So when it comes to self-discipline, it's you have to do it. You can't prep and prime enough. You got to tell yourself, okay, today is the day that I'm going to pull the trigger, and then pull the trigger.
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't use that terminology. Today is the day that I'm going to do it, and then you execute. And we should execute. I'm trying to be very sensitive with certain words. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Okay?
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
So I wanted to.
Oh no, I feel you. Yeah. No, I think it's so important, and I just feel like, I mean,
it's dark.
Time is, time is one of those commodities that I say this at least once every quarter that we're on this show. Mm-hmm. It is a commodity that you cannot get back.
Cannot get back.
So let me bring Mr. Willie T. Montgomery Jr. into the mix. I'm gonna introduce y'all. Aside from his bio, which is amazing, by the way, I mean, he is 5th generation Presbyterian. Oh, he got the hat. He put his hat on now. He ready to rock and roll, y'all. I'm just 5th generation Presbyterian, the creator and designer of Sir Monty Designer Ties. Why you wear your tie tonight?
Because it's upstairs. I forgot that, and I didn't have time to go upstairs and get it. So
a company birthed out of his love for design, fashion, and crafting. 25 years in the creative arts, ruling elder with the PCUSA. We serve on a lot of ministries together. He's going to be a coach soon, and so he'll come back and talk about that. But he has this business. Is the business with your mother? Is she the boss?
She's the boss. It's her business. It's her company.
Oh, yeah. You just be helping out. But yeah. But does a lot of work with entrepreneurs and kind of in the same role, like colliding our faith and ministry into the world of entrepreneurship. And how do you do that successfully? So Willie, thank you for coming to the show tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I was excited. I felt like I was important. I was like, ooh, I'm on the Shani shit show. I'm going to be up there with the big wigs up here speaking and talking.
Listen, So tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Oh wow. Well, I identify as a creative. I think that's the main gift that God gave me was to create, right? And to figure out how to create. And so that's always been at the center of everything I do. It's about how do I create a something, whether that's a program, whether that's a conference, a play, a ministry, just a safe space. How do I create? So a creative is something that I love doing. I've been doing my whole entire life. And then I add on all the other stuff of, entrepreneur and designer and whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. And so I don't know. That's kind of how I explain myself. It starts with creation. And everything else is kind of an added bonus. That at the root of my core, it's creating something.
A long time ago, I don't know if you can remember saying
Your sound.
that.
We hear you,
Yeah,
but you sound really far away. Like, where'd you
yeah.
go?
I didn't go anywhere,
There
Keith.
you
There you
go.
go.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's odd. I didn't do anything.
It
But
was
anyway,
almost like a speaker went out or something,
Hmm.
and then like the back of the room speaker picked up.
Right.
but that's so strange.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mika remembers this, but this is when we in our internet radio days, and this is when I knew that Mika and I were like going to be friends forever because she said this is probably like 3 months in, and she got excited one night. Okay, so you remember what she said? So she was talking about how she's always like the same tone all the time, and then she wants to scream. Well, she didn't scream on the show, but she got really excited one show, and she says, "How can you not be creative if you were made from the creator?" And I was like, "Yes, let's tweet that out." And so as
That's
you were
hilarious.
speaking, Willie, I was thinking about what Mika said all them years ago, like just about like,
Yeah.
and I know that some of us are tap into our creative side a little bit uh easier than others, but we all have creativity in
Everyone.
us.
Yep.
I tell
Every
that all the time. We are all creative. We just have different levels and different fields of creativity that we do. A
Mm-hmm.
lawyer is very creative, okay? Because
right
they come up with some very
Very.
creative.
when they
Right,
when they be creating
right,
their
right,
summations and all
Those
of that, I be
loopholes.
like,
right,
I didn't even
right,
think about that.
right, right. So,
Your
but
mama,
it's
so I'm calling you out, Willie, because your mama said, I feel like I can call Miss Rhonda mama on the
yeah.
show, but she said it's a family business. So yes, it's his too. So don't be
But she's
talking
still the
about,
boss. She's still the boss. She's still the boss. And let me say, it's Conference Architect. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out how to do your first event, your signature event, please look us up. We're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Conference Architect. Really, that's what we help do. Help, especially overrun, overpacked, overbusy entrepreneurs create their signature event because not everybody is good at doing events, but you need to do
and
it. You want to make money, you got to do an event, right? You got to get your product out there, and so
I talked to y'all offline, but y'all should have been at y'all should have
uh-uh,
created the event I was at last week.
because you're here, we ain't for everybody. So that's also part of your discernment,
Did you
right?
say we not for
We're
everybody?
not. We're not for everybody, right? And that's part of your discernment, I think, as an entrepreneur and as an entrepreneur that is um, a faith based. You got to know who your clientele is. You got to know who your
Very
audience is,
true.
right?
That's a very
Because
true
I can't
statement.
I can't show up 100% for somebody that's not that I can't work. That's not in my lane.
That's
If
true.
right, that's true. I'm not going to be 100%, right? And there's no need for me to put my word out there. If we're not connecting, if your business model or your business, what you are selling, what you want to sell, is not something that fits with my spirit, I got to walk away. Mom
What's
says
the
all the time that she says no to more than she says yes to because it has to fit with our spirit, right?
yeah, it's all about synergy. My
Yeah.
my publisher is like that. Like my, my publisher, shout out to publisher gifts. They published every single one of my books, but no, the synergy has to be on point. Like, I don't, and then it was funny because one of her clients last week, was just like shouting her out because it's, Women's History Month, and she was like, when I met Ty Davis like 7 years ago at a conference, I tried to pay her right then and there. She said, I don't do business at somebody else's conference. Contact me when you get home.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yes.
Big time, right? And I was like, yeah, it's the synergy has to be on point. But yeah, what would you think? What is the number one, like for someone doing a conference? What's the number one piece of advice that you would offer?
Location, right? Actually, it's twofold, right? It's not really one. Location and budget. Know how much you're willing to spend, because that's also going to determine your location. And know how much your audience is willing to spend, right? Because if you don't know that,
and how come faith-based people, entrepreneurs, don't want to talk about the budget?
Because no one wants to talk about money. No one wants to know. No one wants to know wants to tell how much money they got and how much money they don't have, right? So that's why no one wants to talk about money.
Because, child, do you know how they be like, God told me. God told me. And I
God didn't tell you nothing. He didn't tell me too.
I be like, but God also had a treasurer, was one of the disciples.
Hey,
where's my video button? Hey. Stop video.
No, we don't.
Come on, Shani. Come on.
We don't like to talk about money unless somebody's writing us a check. That's the only time we like to talk about money, and that's not realistic. Right? That's not. And so that's it, because we don't want you to know how much I got, how much I don't got.
Right. I mean, first of all, and I know I said that in a joking manner, but I'm so serious, right?
And you should be.
But also, it's about stewardship.
Yeah.
Budget and steward, it's about being a good steward, not wasting the resources that God has given you, and understanding, and then that goes back to be creative, right? Because if your budget is a modest one,
you have to be more creative.
You have to be more creative than others. And some of the best events that I have gone to, you'd be surprised what the budget was.
And best you know that up front.
Budget. It didn't look low budget.
Right. But best we know that up front, and not 3 days before the conference. And now we're trying to pull together stuff because no one told us ain't no money, right?
Exactly.
That's why I said knowing your budget is really the best, because that's going to determine where your location is, right? And if you know that your audience is not spending a lot of money on things, don't go to an expensive location, right? Where they have to spend now a lot of money on hotel and airline, right? Yes, you can get some good prices, but it's still going to cost money. So you have to be really sensitive about budgets, right? And that forms your location. But that's what we find. But that's with everything, right? Any project you work on, it's gonna come down to the money, right? And we don't talk. I mean, we're both elders. We know. Okay, we spend more time probably talking about the money we don't have than we do about the resources that we can tap into.
Yes.
And I think that's so. I think it's universal, right? I think we are all in that same place. The problem is because we don't talk about it. We don't know that every church on 15th Street Presbyterian Church. So every church on 15th Street, right, probably has the exact same problem that we do, but no one's talking.
Well, you know that's probably a cultural thing too, because we're not used to talking about money in our. I was having this conversation earlier with my best friend about, we talk about generational wealth and leaving legacy, but what we're also lacking is generational knowledge.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, she was talking about how her parents, like her mom, like got 4 degrees on her own, paid for college on her own, but didn't teach her children how she did that. Right? Her father, got a business. Yes, it was inherited, but didn't teach them how to be business owners, right? So you have this generational wealth and this legacy, but you didn't teach them how to to keep
Operate
it.
and maintain that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
generational knowledge is so important.
Yeah. It's almost more important than the legacy part, right? Because if you don't know how to keep the wealth it stops, right?
Right.
But the knowledge can continue on and on and on. Even if you
Right.
don't have wealth to give, right? The knowledge allows the opportunity to build wealth, right? And that's the one thing I think
Exactly.
that we completely forget. And it's not just in our families, it's in our churches. Now, I go to a generational church, 180 years, right? We're at a point now where we've almost forgotten who we are and how we got there. So we're going to have to start over from scratch and really redevelop what our identity is because no one taught us how to continue the legacy. No one taught
Right.
us how we became the first Black Presbyterian church. No one taught that,
Right.
right? Somewhere we
Yeah.
forgot that it was important to keep teaching us those same lessons. It's why I'm an advocate in education. I know and it still is kind of back and forth about this whole thing that we don't need to teach our founding fathers. We do, but we also
Yes.
need to teach the truth about our founding fathers. A lot of
Right.
times we don't want to teach our history, personal or whatever, because we don't want to talk about the bad. You have to talk about all of it, the bad, the good, the ugly, the successful, the not. Talk about it all because in everything there's that lesson, right? I can't just talk about the good because then I don't give a reality of what else happened, right?
Yeah,
Of why that's
absolutely.
good. You have to talk
Because
about it all.
absolutely, because I need to I need to show you what went wrong. I need to
Hmm.
teach you what went wrong. So I have to thank my mom for always telling me, and I'm gonna go off on a tangent in a way, but this is the best example I can give, right? My mother used to always tell me that her grandfather died in St. Elizabeth's. Now, why did she tell me that?
Mm.
She said because everybody in the family would say daddy had bone cancer. But if you know the history of St. Elizabeth don't treat you for cancer now,
It don't.
right? So and so the older I got, I think I remember probably being like 15, 16. And I'm like, why do you always say that? And she said, Shani, because St. Elizabeth is a mental hospital.
Right.
So make sure you check your mental. It's hereditary. It's generational,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
I shared this with a cousin of mine, right? About 10 years ago. And it literally changed her life because she had no idea.
Mm.
She had
Yeah.
no idea that, and so this would have been her grandmother's father.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I did not know. I was like, yes. I said, so it's hereditary because they wasn't treating if he died in St. E's, they wasn't treating his bone cancer in St. E's in 1960.
Mm-mm.
And we got to talk about those
Yeah,
things.
we do.
Generational knowledge.
Yeah, because that's what saves lives
Absolutely.
and changes futures, and that's what we don't. But I think a lot of that comes to the fact that we are not comfortable with our own selves and have an idea of where we fit in our own lives and in this world, which is one of the things which is why I'm excited about this new career shift thing that's going on. Thank you, Shani. As I say, I have to thank Shani for this whole shift in leadership because 90% of what I'm doing in the Presbyterian Church is because of my good friend Shani, who's like, "Hey, Willie, what you doing?"
They ain't gonna work me. Shoot, I had to get another superstar because I live in abundance. They gonna need to know all of us when it's all
Right,
said and done.
right, right.
There
But
is room at the table for us
there
all.
is room because the
It's
table is big
abundance.
enough. And guess what? If there's not enough room, we are creative enough to build a bigger table. And that's what we
You know,
forget.
exactly. One of your clients, I don't know if you want to shout her out or what, but that's up to you. But one of your
Wait,
clients,
shout her
who
out.
April, I
Yeah, shout
heard
her
her
out.
say, I heard her say on a lot, I don't know what it was, but it was recent
Hmm.
when she was talking about just, she was talking about giving away information, right?
Hmm.
Just being plenty. And she was like, y'all living in a scarcity mindset. And then
Yes, yes.
my girl said, you'll never, you'll never know as much as I know. I was like, yo, if everybody thought like that, now some people might look at that and think that that's very conceited, right? But if you are in your lane, like
Yes.
Mika is in
Yes.
her lane of
Yes.
therapy, of psychology, right? We will never know
Never
all
know.
that she know, right?
Never.
I don't even
I
know
just
what
feel
my lane
like
is because I do too much. but what all I
for
know is
anybody that feels like that was conceited,
Right.
look inward.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
First of all, I know because she was a woman, that's the automatic thing that comes out. Like
Yeah.
when women are mentioning those things that, you know, they feel makes them great and their skill set and, you know, their expertise, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're not humble enough and you're
Right.
you know, it irritates
Humble,
me.
that has nothing to do with humility.
Exactly.
No.
Because here's the thing.
They always want us to be modest.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know a lot. And then and my
Exactly.
humility comes in with now I didn't know that I was East, but I know a lot. That's what my
But we
that's
did.
what my you
That's why
that's
you have
what
a
my you
village. That's why you have a village, because we
right.
did.
Exactly.
I
And
didn't
it's
know that I was
okay.
headed East. I really thought I was West, but that's a whole nother story.
But
And I
good.
just,
But my
yeah, I
point
mean,
is,
good for her for knowing her worth and her value and what she does know, because I also feel like we can get knocked out of the game too, trying to play that whole
right.
modesty game, right? You know, we
Yes.
get overlooked because we don't I have a shirt, you know, that says like women take up space. Like we need to take up more
Mhm.
space. We're always
Yes.
playing it quiet, I am the biggest. I still do that. Like I have to. My mom. I don't know. My mom just be like, "Where does that come from?" Because neither one of my parents are like this. But it's like I kind of is a struggle that goes on in my head. You know, where I feel like I don't want to take away from anybody else. And my mom's like, "No, there's enough room. Speak up." You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Speak up.
Always.
Are you
And
sitting there quiet when they just said they need some more healthy recipes? You should be like, hey, I have a smoothie business."
yep.
And I just look at her like,
And I played the modesty game way too long.
yeah,
Especially when I was in
we
corporate.
lose out. Yep.
And I lost
Yep.
out. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
and I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you
Right?
can't.
Like,
You really have to live in your truth, but you have to
yeah.
know what that truth is. You got to know where your desires are. You got to know what your talent is. You got to know what makes you. And I think we spend a lot of time. One of the things that I like about a lot of our clients, they all touch us in different ways, right? And as I was going through this and kind of really discerning, when the opportunity came to become a coach, I was like, okay, well, I always feel like I should be in the coaching field in some way, right? But I never felt that there was a opportunity that really talked to all the things that I wanted and needed to do, and I felt like coaching should be, right? Until the opportunity came with Next Trip, and so I'm grateful for it. But even then, I was like, I still feel like I'm missing a something. Like there's something that's not connecting all the dots. And so I am not. I was not in the whole. I come up with a word for my year, and this is the word I want to follow. I didn't believe. I didn't believe in all that. But sometimes the Lord will show you that you need to start believing some of the things you didn't believe in. And so, as we got closer to December, the word discover kept dropping into my spirit like heavy, 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 heavy. So, okay, God, what is this thing about discover? And He's like, this is your word for the year. I was like, oh, we need to do this? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, this is what you're gonna do. Like I didn't stutter. I said discover. And so I said, okay. And then we went to our spiritual formation. And what did we do as an exercise for our spiritual formation? We did a star word. And I had never heard the term star word. I didn't know that it's actually a Presbyterian tradition. I went and looked it up, and my mind was blown away because with the word discover, I kept getting all these images of space, right? And the vastness of space all in. And so the fact that it was considered a star word, right? And the whole idea that you follow this word as if wise men followed the star to Jesus, that leads you to a path, blew it up. Because what I was realizing is that we have tools for everything, right? Tools and books and manuals for everything, right? But where's our book that teaches us about us? That not that somebody else wrote, right? Where's the information that we wrote down? How we define ourselves, how we define our talents, how we discover. Where is that document? And who is teaching us how to do that? Who is teaching? Look, you need to write down who you are, right? So that when you forget, we have all the exercises you write on the wall, you write on your post-it notes, but where is it? Where is my blueprint that I have created? Where is my thesis? Where is my instruction manual? Where is the thing that I can go back to when I need to remember who I am? Right? And so God dropped my spirit about an atlas, right? An atlas is what? It's a bound collection of maps, right? Or information or whatever you want to put in an atlas. Just create an atlas. Help people create an atlas of themselves, right? A document, a program, a something where you can always go back to, right? And remember, like when you have those moments, you're like, this is not it. I don't know. Go back. When you're about to make a life change, you have something to go back to and say, okay, it's more than just a statement. It's more than just a vision board, right? Because we love the vision board, but what goes beyond that vision board? The vision board is about accomplishing things. Where's the vision board that's just about you? About not only what you want to accomplish, but what you have accomplished, all the things that make you up. And so that's really where I kind of am going into. And it all got also spawned because I turned 40 this year, February 18th. And I was like, okay, God, 30 was we need to put, to keep going forward. We keep moving. Adam was like, well, you need to go sit down and really just chart out you and create that chart. And so that's what I've been working on for the last couple months, really, is really getting all the things together to start that. And then I'm going to beta test it myself and do my 40-day kind of atlas creation, and then invite people to join in and do this and see if it works. And then it'll be one of my first courses I can have when I get my certification to be a coach. Is to help you create your own atlas so that you have something.
I love that.
Yeah. I like
I
being a part of the beginning, right? The beginning stages of creation. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was the whole thing like what April said, I was there at the conference when she said it, is that, you have to share, right? You're never going to know as much. I feel the same way. The one thing I know is that I am the best at being me. So there's nobody on this earth who can be better at me than me.
Come on now.
Right? So that means all the crazy knowledge, and I am the keeper of random knowledge. And I love that.
Me too.
But I had to learn how to love that. I had to learn how to be with people, the person who just knows everything, right?
Random things.
I'm okay with that.
You can only be Willie T. Montgomery Jr.
I can only be Willie T. Montgomery.
Because everyone else is taken.
Yes.
Rhonda,
right. And no one else can be.
I think only imposters are worried about someone knowing more. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I do. I feel like that's an imposter trait. So
yeah, it is.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm gonna shout out a few people that was or is still watching. So Rhonda, shout out to Rhonda for watching. It's About Me. Thanks for watching. Trudy in the building. Thanks for watching. Heather, thanks for watching. Rhonda said, oh, I already repeated that. Angela Hope said, wow. She said, that's why I love TD. She talked about Ty Davis. Yes, stewardship. Angela said, hello, Willie T. Jr. Montgomery. That's good, Shani. Generational knowledge. That's the key. Founding framers. Come on now, build a bigger table. Yes, speak, Mika, speak. So we're getting all of this, all of the comments. And Rhonda said, that is good, Willie. Where is the book that teaches us about us? Send me a payment link. I want to do it.
All right.
How do people get in contact with you, Mr. Montgomery?
Well, you can see me. I'm on Facebook. I am, and I'm on Instagram. One of my other things is to be more present on social media because I am the absolute worst about that. I
need somebody to do it for you.
Why do you feel like you need to be on social media more?
I want to be.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that God's giving me a message.
I'm trying to get away from it.
No, I feel like God's giving me a message that I am not talking enough. I am not doing part of my job is to get on social media. So that's also part of this 40-day thing is that I will do it. I will do it live. Well, I will do it and then drop it into a YouTube to watch it, clips on social media. So I believe that I'm a talker. I'm a communicator, right? So God didn't give me this gift of gab just for me to talk to myself, right? So I need to share, the random, and not that I feel like, I have no, I feel like somewhere in all this jumble, somebody is something that will heal somebody, right? I don't know what it is,
Absolutely.
but it would be selfish of me to keep it to myself, right? So y'all need to hear this. I don't know what y'all gonna get from it. That's not for me to determine, right?
It's not.
I know that when you take that first step, God does the rest. Okay, and
Absolutely.
all I was told is to take my behind to social media. All right, okay, and
You
then
sow
and
the
then see
seeds.
right
He
and see
waters.
what God can do. We always hear that you're not supposed to test God. God said test Him. Okay,
He
test
certainly did.
test the power and His might and His majesty. And so we've got to get better at being, okay, God, you said step, know what you're gonna do,
It's
right?
because he's
And
not an
watch Him,
imposter.
right, and watch Him blow your mind every
Stand on
single
it.
time, right? And that's what I want. I want to live a life where God's just blowing my mind every day. I wake up just boom, blown. But you can only do that, right, if you know who you are and you know the faith that you have to take that first step. Because He's going to ask you to do some crazy things, right? That you're like, all He wants you to do is take that one step, right?
I like to add to that. If you know whose you
Whose?
are,
Yes,
because that's more
yes,
important.
yes,
Whose you are.
right.
This gets me excited. Yeah. When he said he invited us to test him.
Yeah,
He did. I got
Because
excited too,
it take
Mika.
a special some
yeah,
kind of somebody to be like, hey, test
like,
me.
right.
Do it.
Man, I got excited too because it was a
I'm trying to
reminder.
tell you.
It was a reminder, like, look, because I'm gonna pass every test.
Right. Like
Like,
how
it's
often do
like-
we feel like
it's
that?
like-
We be like, come on
right,
and test me.
it's
right,
Like,
It's like who you giving the ball to in the fourth quarter,
right,
right? Like
right.
it's like all of that.
yes.
Who's gonna sing this? Who's gonna sing this song? Like who's gonna throw down?
Right.
Like like just give it to so and so.
Yeah.
What did they do when it was an award ceremony and the opera singer couldn't make the Grammys and
Yes.
my girl
Yes.
Aretha stepped in, never sang opera before. She had 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. And no one thought she could do it. No one thought Aretha Franklin could do it, right? And they were like, someone was like, do you not know this is Aretha Franklin? Okay, if she said she can do it, she can do it. It is still today the number one Grammy moment of all times.
He's like,
right?
try me if you want to.
And we have to remember that. And that's why I think I love the whole imagery of space in this. And my program, I'm calling this phase of it Beyond the Shooting Stars. Because I feel like we always feel that the greatest things are beyond reach, right? That they're in this place that lives with leprechauns and unicorns and pots of gold in the rainbow. But that place is closer than we think. It's about faith. It's about getting through all that stuff and not being afraid to take that leap into the unknown, right? Into that space where no one's discovered, right? And really see all that God has for you, right? So let's reach beyond the shooting stars, right? Let's reach that unknown and see all the blessings that we have. Because we are leaving blessings on the table.
Come on now.
Why?
Willie.
Why? And it's for
I don't
me,
want to leave nothing on the table.
right. It's time to stop. I want all of my.
Listen, I want the stuff on the table.
I want the
off
table
the
too.
table. I'm gonna be like that lady
Yes.
said. Well, I get the scraps. I want it all. I'm greedy that way.
Right. We hoard everything else, right?
Yeah,
we hoard everything else. Why aren't we hoarding blessings? Why are we saying, God, no, God, you got more for me? Okay? Right? Because here's the thing, the more that I can take in, the more that I can give. The more that I can be a blessing. Right? But if I'm sitting here, I'm only taking these little scraps, right? Then I can only give less than scraps. So how can I be a generous giver if I'm not also being receiving. But you gotta have the doors open. Like I'm opening every door, every window. I'm building more doors. Like well, I don't need no walls. Just everything go, so that the storehouse can continue to be filled,
Yep.
right? And then that blessing can run out past me and beyond me. And that's also part of leaving a legacy of blessing, right? We have got to talk about our blessings and talk about how good God is, and leave that and know that it's an action thing, right? God can't pour into you unless you open the doors, unless you open the windows, right? If you stay shut down, there's nothing can get in. And that it's being emotionally vulnerable, it's being able to talk and to be in community with people, right? To share ideas. Angela Hope, we do events. We had, and like I said, creativity is what we do. One of the things we do. We had an event. A client of ours, Joan T. Randall, and she we went to do the event, and the event had to go virtual. It's literally her event was literally right as the world was shutting down, right? And so we had 10 days to flip a in-person event to a virtual event. She had vendors. She's like, "Well, I have all these vendors. I don't know what to do with them." We're like, "Let's do a virtual marketplace. Have your vendors come in. We'll do it like QVC. Bam, did it, knocked it out." Angela loved the idea. Now Angela does it as a business every Saturday morning. She has a virtual marketplace, so she brings vendors in to talk about their product, right? Look at that. A whole business came out because we had the forethought just to be creative, to live in the moment, to not say, well, I don't know how we're gonna do this, let's not do it. No. Let's just take a moment to think and say, hey, look, we're creative. Now, I believe that there's nothing that hasn't already been done, right? And if everything's already been done, then we can do anything, right? We didn't create anything new by making a virtual marketplace. QVC's been doing it for years. I just said if they can do it, why can't we? Now, when do we start applying that to our life, right? If Oprah can do this, why can't I? If Bill Gates can do this, why can't I? If this, why do we have to live? Yes, we might not have the money and the resources, but we have the creativity and we have the community. And if we rely on our community, rely on our creativity, and rely on our God, there is nothing that can't get done. I think that's what we have to refocus ourselves in. To know that we have everything we need to be the people we're supposed to be and beyond. But we have to believe that, and we have to trust His promises that He gave to us,
We have
and
to
then do
give
the
up
work,
the we
and then
have
do
to
the
give
work.
up the deficit narrative. We have to
Huh?
give that up. We have to
Yes.
give up the deficit narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
They keep feeding it to us and we keep eating it, but we don't
Yeah.
we don't have to adapt that, for
Mm-mm.
ourselves. So
No.
gotta give it up.
Yeah. Part of this process that I'm working on is about redefining, reclaiming all the negative words and stuff that people have said, and putting in new definition. This whole process is about you defining you.
Oh, I love that.
Not looking at what somebody else defines. Like we have all these books, astrology or personal, that tells you who you're supposed to be. To tell you,
Right.
no, I want you to define you. I want you to come up with your own words, and then I want you to come up with a meaning for those words,
Yeah.
right? So this was a 100% of your document of you that no one else has to define for you. You have defined yourself, right? Because if it's all already in us, we just sometimes need to see it on paper and be reminded.
Yeah. This is good. We need a part two.
Yes. When it's done, when it's ready. And that's my
Wait,
yeah, when it's done, when it's ready.
so Willie, can you remind people how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, well, I am on Instagram as Sir Monty. And on Facebook as Sir Monty and as Willie Terrell Montgomery Jr. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. I will check my Instagram. Yeah, and there'll be other. I'm about to launch a whole social media around Beyond Shooting Stars, so that people can jump in and really go through the process. I'll launch it um, publicly a few days after I start, just so that the content's up and I have worked out some of the kinks. And it will be very, very vague. I'm going to give you an outline and then let you work through it, kind of the way I'm working through it. And then there'll be chances to give feedback and chances to give some comments and even leave some testimonials. And then from there, I'll build out the full program and create a book and a workbook and a journal to go with it. So there's a whole plan and a few other things, because I think as I was doing this, I realized there's some other holes, even in my personally, that I was like, okay, this is an extra piece that probably needs to be worked on. And then how do I take this for business? And how do I take this for this? And so what I would like to do is to take some of the um, my natural born confidence. And I've always been told that I've always felt like I was very I don't like confidence as the word. There's a surety about me. I'm very sure about who I am. How do I help people sit in that, right? Right? Sit in that not having doubt about who they are, right? There's no need because there's no one else like you. So all you can ever be is you.
Right.
And once you understand that, say that and say that internally, it's so easy to have confidence. Because I'm an original. And I've known that my whole. I am 100% an original. There's never been anybody like me, and there
Yeah.
never will be. And you have to be proud in that fact that you are one of a kind. That God did break the mold, and that's not a bad thing. God broke the mold because He never intended there to be anybody else but you.
I love that. Mika, do we have on the same glasses?
Y'all might.
No.
But we're all in the clear family because mine are, you can't really see, but mine are transparent as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a whole transparent thing going on.
I'm loving this. Well, I thank y'all for coming on tonight, man. This hour went by super duper fast. Like,
Shani, did you go to the beach today? It was
no,
really nice out.
It was. I got here like right before dinner. So.
Oh, okay.
So tomorrow.
Yeah.
Have fun at your retreat.
Is it gonna be nice tomorrow?
It's supposed to be really nice tomorrow.
Okay. It was great today. Let me tell you what kind of day it was today. So I went to Target looking for something, and I got me something to drink, and I sat in the car, opened up. This is why I need a drop top. So I'm just put it out there that the Creator will bless me with a drop top. But
Amen.
I, slid back the sunroof, rolled down all the windows, and I threw my chair back. Okay, I'll see my slow-mo. I threw my chair back. And I sat in the Target parking lot for 30 minutes, slowly sipping my drink quietly in the sun.
I love it.
It was like the best moment ever. And I was just like, do I really want to go home? So I need my hammock. Not because I'm avoiding home. I just didn't want to go inside.
Yeah.
So it's time for me I have to get another hammock stand because I guess I don't know. I think it was old. It just started to get rusty and I didn't trust it. It was rusting where the joints are that hold you up in the air. I don't want to land on the ground while I'm swinging. So I'll make sure I get a hammock stand really soon because y'all know, for those of you that live in the DMV like I do, like Shani does, this is our spring, people. I want y'all to know that because in about 3 weeks, it's just gonna be 70 and above. It's not gonna.
Willie's in the DMV too, so
okay. So this is spring for us. There are a lot of people that are usually confused about this weather. You're like, no, this is spring, honey. Enjoy it, okay?
Yeah, because it's about to be hot.
Mm-hmm. And then it'll rain, right? And then we'll have that cold front again. And then it'll be 70, and we'll do this a couple times, and then it'll just stay hot until the end of October. So enjoy.
Carlisha says definitely. She said happy Monday. Hey Mika, and she
Carly.
Hi Kate, Carly. I've been remembering people's Instagram names.
I know, right?
Carly T. But wait a minute, I didn't know your Instagram, Willie, was Sir Monty. I don't. Do you follow me on Instagram? We'll talk offline.
The answer is I will if I'm not.
Yeah, I'm about to right now.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you, Mika, as always.
Thank you.
The Sharing with Shani show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. We air every Monday night. Come check us out. We're booked through the end of June. So
and the show ends early this year, right?
The show ends early this year. It does.
Calendar. What's the date, Shani? What's our last show date?
Like the second Monday in June.
So the 13th.
First
last day
Monday.
Of school. That's the last day of school, isn't it?
Probably.
Okay.
Or the 6th, something like that.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm putting it in.
So yeah, so that is where that's what we're doing. Next Monday, special guest, okay, I'm gonna mess up her name. I apologize. Montoya Bayless. Montoya Bayless will be our special guest next Monday night. Thank you. God bless you.
Have a good night. Peace.
And peace.
Have a good night.